Welcome to the deep dive. We like to peel back the layers on things we think are simple, but maybe aren't. Today, we're doing a deep dive into gift giving, something we all do, right? Often without a ton of thought. But here's the thing, you might think it's just about, I don't know, the wrapping paper or the item inside, but giving a gift, it can actually subtly but really profoundly impact our relationships. Sometimes for the worse. So we're here to explore those common gift-giving slip-ups, not just to point them out, but to get why they sting and, how to maybe avoid them. Our mission today, it's really to unpack these hidden messages, these unspoken emotional messages gifts carry. We want to pull out the really important bits of knowledge to help you navigate this whole thing so your generosity actually connects instead of, pushing people away. It's about understanding the language of presence. It's subtle, but powerful.
It really is. And that's exactly why these kinds of mistakes, they cut so much deeper than just, surface disappointment. Historically, gifts have always been more than just stuff. They act as these emotional proxies for how deeply we actually see someone, how much we value them, really. They become this tangible proof of your attention, your care.
Or the lack of it.
Or, unfortunately, the profound lack of it. Think about that story. The boyfriend's sister, she'd specifically mentioned wanting a certain book, really looking forward to it. But for her anniversary, a generic lotion set?
Oof.
Yeah, and the hurt you saw wasn't about the lotion itself. Of course not. It was about feeling totally invisible in her marriage. And that just underscores this crucial point. People aren't reacting to the object, the gift. They're reacting to what it represents, what it says about how well you understand them, their dreams, what they actually care about. It taps right into that need we all have,
Yeah.
to be seen, validated.
Right, that sinking feeling.
Yeah.
When someone opens your gift and gives that tight little smile, it's definitely more than just awkwardness. It can actually be like relationship damage happening right there. And that disappointment, especially if it comes from feeling unseen, it can stick around.
Yeah.
And these small missteps, if they keep happening, they can build up into these patterns, right?
Mhm.
Patterns of feeling unvalued.
Yeah.
And that just slowly chips away at the connection. So if gifts are these powerful emotional proxies, what does it really mean for our connections when we get it wrong?
Well, it means that, the wrong gift doesn't necessarily mean you don't care. It just means you missed the message.
Hmm.
But missing that message can be huge. Think about the contrast. Imagine feeling truly seen, really cherished, because your partner remembers some specific wine you mentioned maybe months ago, just offhand.
Yeah, that feels amazing.
Right. Versus feeling like a complete afterthought when they just grab a random gift card on the way over. It's not about the money involved. It's about the emotional investment, the effort. Did you actually try to connect?
Yeah.
That effort or, the lack of it. It speaks volumes about how much you're really tuning into them.
Okay, speaking of tuning in, what about when we totally miss how someone actually receives love? Is that where these love languages come in? How does that play into gift giving?
Oh, absolutely. Love languages aren't just some abstract theory. They're incredibly practical, like guidelines for how people genuinely feel most loved. And if you give a gift that doesn't line up with their main love language, it can feel like you're speaking totally different dialects. For instance, someone whose top language is words of affirmation, they feel loved through words, praise, appreciation, validation. So for them, a heartfelt, handwritten card that really acknowledges them, their unique qualities, that might mean way more than something expensive.
Right. It's about feeling truly seen and appreciated through that specific praise, recognizing who they are.
Exactly. Or take quality time, their deepest need. Undivided attention, shared experiences, making memories. Your presence is the actual gift.
Yeah.
Acts of service people. They feel loved when you lighten their load, maybe helping with a project, doing something practical for them instead of buying something. And for physical touch types, things that offer comfort, warmth, closeness, those can be deeply meaningful.
Oh, I remember my college roommate. She spent her entire paycheck once on this designer bag for her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And he just looked kind of blank. Underwhelmed is putting it mildly. Turned out his love language was quality time. He would have absolutely treasured a weekend adventure together way, way more. That huge financial sacrifice. Well-intentioned, sure, but it totally missed the mark emotionally.
That's such a classic example. And here's a good tip if you're unsure about someone's love language. Look at how they show love to others. Because we often tend to give what we hope to receive, right? So for that quality time person, a unique wine gift might actually be planning a vineyard tour together.
Yep.
Focus on the experience, not just handing over a bottle.
Give them their currency of love. Got it. Okay, so if missing their love language is a missed opportunity, The next one feels even more uh, problematic. Making the gift about you. Buying something you secretly want for yourself.
Yeah.
Projecting your own tastes onto them, I think. Yeah, I think we've all been tempted, right?
Oh, absolutely. We have. And the problem is these sort of self-centered gifts, they subtly send the message, I don't really know you.
Mm.
Or worse, my tastes matter more than yours. And that just creates this emotional distance. People can usually sense it, you know? When a gift reflects your desires more than theirs, even if you meant well, it kind of undermines their individuality in the relationship.
Yeah, I had a friend admit she gave her husband, who's a total tea drinker, this super high-end coffee maker.
Uh,
Why? Because she wanted fancy coffee. She realized later how much it just prioritized her desires.
Mm-hmm.
It created this weird, subtle tension. The message wasn't, I love you. It was more like, I love good coffee, and hey, you live here too.
That's a perfect, if slightly painful, illustration. When well-meaning gifts just misfire. The shift needs to be away from self-focus towards, like, genuine curiosity. What would really delight them? When you tune into their actual interests, finding meaningful gifts gets so much easier. And that thoughtfulness, that builds much stronger bonds because they feel truly seen.
Okay, what about those really practical gifts? The vacuum cleaner example.
Yeah.
Is it ever really a good token of affection? Especially when we're talking emotion here.
It's a tricky one because, sure, it's useful, but practical gifts without any, like, sentiment attached, they can feel less like celebrating the person and more
The
like,
chore assignment.
exactly, or just household maintenance. So they can fail to acknowledge the recipient as a person beyond household duties.
Mm.
Gift occasions should feel special, right? A celebration of them, not like ticking off items on a home repair list. The hidden message can sometimes be, I see you mainly for your function in this house.
Yeah.
Ouch.
My sister still talks about the Christmas. Her husband gave her pots and pans. His line was, you mentioned the old ones were scratched. Useful. Yes. Emotionally resonant. Not so much. She said it felt like a thank you for doing the dishes.
Hmm.
But contrast that with my cousin. Her partner gave her new high-quality cookware along with cooking classes. That completely transformed it. It turned practical into thoughtful. An opportunity to grow, maybe even together.
Precisely. The key is combining that practicality with personal meaning or some emotional context. A practical item alone, often cold, but pair it with an experience, a personal touch, something showing you thought about their joy or growth. Then it works. Think about personalized DIY gifts. They often nail this blend, useful but handmade, showing real care and effort.
And then there's the flip side, maybe. Overcompensating with really expensive gifts, like trying to buy thoughtfulness with luxury. Does that actually work?
Not usually, no, not for building real connection. The danger is expensive gifts can feel like emotional shortcuts.
Or bribes, almost?
Or even bribes, yeah. They just can't replace emotional investment or true attention. A high-priced thing without personal meaning. It often leaves everyone feeling a bit empty. It can even create this unspoken pressure on the person receiving it. It starts to feel transactional, not relational. And that really undermines trust.
I remember a colleague telling me her ex used to buy really extravagant jewelry after big arguments. Instead of, actually talking things through, she said every necklace just became a symbol of unresolved conflict, not affection. They felt like payoffs for peace and quiet.
That's a powerful and, sadly, pretty common example. Meaningful giving comes from attention, from really being with someone, not from your credit card limit. Honestly, a handwritten letter remembering specific shared moments, or even an inexpensive little thing that references an inside joke, that can create far more genuine connection than some luxury item picked without real thought. It's about the resonance, not the receipt.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. Few things seem to sting quite as much as a forgotten birthday or anniversary. That feels like a really direct hit, doesn't it?
Oh, you're absolutely right. Missing those big dates, it sends a pretty clear signal. The relationship isn't top of mind. You aren't top of mind. And that last-minute scramble, it often just compounds hurt feelings because it shows this total lack of foresight, of care. It feels like, oh, shoot, I remembered I was supposed to do something, but the why, the you, that slipped my mind. It can make someone feel really unimportant, easily overlooked.
Yeah, I watched a friend try so hard to hide her disappointment when her partner completely blanked on their anniversary, his rushed grocery store flowers the next day. That just made it worse. It showed he eventually remembered, but hadn't planned at all. The gesture wasn't a save. It almost felt like adding insult to injury.
And this is a mistake that's just so preventable now. We have phones, calendars, alerts, sticky notes. But if it does happen, the key is owning it.
Hmm.
Acknowledge the mistake directly, take full responsibility, and then Make a truly meaningful makeup gesture, something that shows real thought, not just another rushed afterthought. Show humility. Show you're committed to making it right. And kind of related, remember to be extra sensitive with gifts for people going through big life changes, divorce, new job, whatever.
Hmm,
Their needs and wants might be shifting dramatically.
right. And speaking of lack of planning,
hmm
we've all seen them, maybe even given them. The generic bath set, the department store gift card, the usual last-minute suspects.
And they represent a real issue because generic gifts, they subtly suggest the recipient could be, well, anyone. You haven't taken the time to see them as unique, and that communicates a lack of specific attention. Over time, that can really erode the quality of the relationship because the effort, it matters just as much as the gift itself. It makes the person feel interchangeable.
Oh, I remember my cousin's face one year. She opened this generic gift set from her husband. They'd been married 10 years. And it was identical to the ones he'd given his mom, his sister, even his assistant. It wasn't about the soap. It was the message. After a decade, he still hadn't really noticed her specific tastes. She said she felt anonymous in a relationship that should be anything but. Like, you're not special enough for me to bother thinking. Rough.
The antidote is simple, but yeah, it takes consistent effort. Pay attention all year round. Notice what they linger over in a shop. Listen when they mention something they want but wouldn't buy themselves. Keep a running note on your phone. These little observations, they turn into personalized gifts that scream, I care, I'm listening.
Right.
Like they say, the thought really does count.
But only when there's actual thought involved.
Exactly, not
Oh.
just ticking a box.
Okay, let's unpack one that feels particularly.
It is. These kinds of gifts are incredibly destructive. They create this sense of obligation, they shatter trust, they turn what should be generosity into like emotional debt collection, and people can feel it. They sense when a gift comes with these unspoken conditions. It just poisons the whole thing. It takes away the joy and replaces it with feeling indebted or controlled. Psychologically, it feels transactional, not relational.
Wow. I heard about a friend's partner.
Yeah.
Gave her this expensive necklace. Then for months, he'd subtly bring it up whenever he wanted her to agree with him or do something his way. You know, that whole, after all I've done for you line. The gift basically became currency for compliance. It totally wrecked their trust. She ended up resenting this thing that should have been about affection.
That's a really stark example of how gifts can be weaponized.
Yeah.
Healthy giving. It comes from genuine care. You give it and you let go of expectations. How they react, that's up to them. If you find yourself keeping score or feeling resentful about how a gift was received, it's worth asking yourself, am I giving from generosity? Or am I trying to get something back? Emotional returns. Control.
Good question to ask ourselves.
Okay.
Finally, one that seems maybe minor but adds up over time. Repeating the exact same gift every single year. The annual socks, the predictable candle. Seems harmless, maybe, but does it hurt?
It can, cumulatively. While traditions are great, giving the identical gift year after year, it suggests minimal ongoing attention. Are you noticing how their preferences might be changing, their interests evolving, their life stage shifting? It can make the relationship feel like it's on autopilot. The gift becomes this symbol of conversational disconnect. What worked 5 years ago might not fit who they are today. Sticking to it rigidly sends a message like, I'm not really paying attention to who you're becoming.
I have an aunt. Her husband gave her the same brand of perfume for 15 birthdays straight, even though she'd mentioned several times that her taste had changed. That perfume really did become a symbol, not of thoughtfulness, but of conversational disconnect. It felt like an obligation, not a celebration.
Right, so the solution isn't necessarily ditching traditions. It's about evolving them thoughtfully. That annual book gift. Maybe focus on their current passion, not just the same old genre. An anniversary dinner. Explore a new restaurant. Try a different cuisine instead of the same table every year. It's about honoring the past, sure, but also acknowledging growth. Just like healthy relationships do, right? They adapt, they deepen.
Wow. Okay, what a fantastic deep dive into just how much is packed into the simple act of giving a gift. So to kind of wrap it up, the core takeaway seems to be the gift itself. Honestly, it matters less than the thought, the care, the real attention behind it. It's not the object, it's the message.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And moving beyond these common mistakes, it just requires ongoing curiosity and emotional presence in your relationships. A simple little trinket you remembered from some random conversation weeks ago, that can be infinitely more precious, more impactful than some super expensive thing chosen about any real thought about who they are. Ultimately, it's about showing someone, I see you, I hear you, I get you.
So yeah, gift giving isn't about being perfect. It's about genuinely paying attention. And when you mess up, because let's be real, we all do, it happens. Just acknowledge it gracefully, learn from it, adapt for next time. It's all part of that ongoing effort to connect, right?
Because ultimately, the greatest gift you can give in any relationship, it's that ongoing effort to truly know each other, not just on birthdays or holidays, but every day.
That is a fantastic thought to leave everyone with. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into thoughtful gift giving. We really hope you can take these insights and apply them in your own relationships. You might be surprised at the difference it makes.